What's up YouTube? It's your boy Nash here. Welcome back to the channel. And today I actually just got back from my local card shop where they hosted an Edison tournament actually. Excuse me. And unfortunately there was only like 4 of us there, so it was just kind of lackluster. But today I brought with me my Edison. I brought my Edison deck to the tournament. Again, there was 4 of us, but I managed to get second place out of it. So I'm not gonna waste any time. I'm gonna show off the deck and explain what each of the cards were capable of, and what the deck, how good the deck was. So first up, I ran 3 copies of Blizzard the Far North. Obviously, this card is basically your Monster Reborn for the entire deck. This card actually came up quite a bit as of late. Let me try and zoom in here. Let me zoom in. There we go. Try and zoom in a little bit. Anyway, so this card came up quite a bit. So what this card does is, on normal summon, you get to basically special summon any Blackwing monster to your board from your graveyard, as long as it has 4 stars or less, but you must summon it in defense, which is a bit unfortunate. But what's cool about this is that you're able to excuse me, you're able to use this plus like, let's say, a Shura, and go into a level 6, which was really good. So this card came up quite a bit during my during the tournament. In fact, I believe the decks that I played against were I think we're like Hero Beat, and what was my finals match? I think it was I think it was both Hero Beat, if I remember correctly. So it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. Next up, we got 3 copies of Bora the Spear. This card is essentially your Mad Sword Beast for the entire deck. So this card basically acts as a Cyber Dragon, and interestingly enough, a lot of the in fact, excuse me. Funny enough, a lot of the Blackwings that were used during Edison, including Bora, they basically counted as Cyber Dragons. So the idea would be for you to normal summon the Blizzard, and then go in, and then special summon any other 4-star monster, special summon this guy out, and you basically have yourself a level 6. Which is really good. And again, this card could also do piercing, which was pretty insane. Next up, we had a single copy of Gale the Whirlwind, as well as 3 copies of Kalut. Funny enough, Kalut came up so many times throughout the tournament. In fact, my first round match, my first round match, I completely like 2-0'd. I think I like 2-0'd the guy, and it was just crazy. It was absolutely insane. In fact, I think we went to a game 3. I don't remember. I literally just got back, so I don't remember much. But I believe this card came up a lot. This card came up so many times. Being searched off of using Whirlwind off of the attack of Bora, which was absolutely incredible. And so what's fun, and so what's cool about this is that if you used up Kalut, you could go normal summon the Blizzard, use Blizzard's effect to bring back Kalut, and you basically have yourself a 6-star monster, which could be Armed Wing, it could be it could have been I would say Magical Android, but Android really doesn't do much. I mean, sure it gains you life points, but it really doesn't do much. So, but I remember one of my hands, I think my first round match, game 2, I literally had all 3 Kaluts in hand, and so I really didn't know much of what to do with this. So I just ended up like I ended up like normal summoning the Kalu, banishing the Kalu off of the Allure. It was just insane. It was insane. Next up, we've got 3 copies of Shura, the Blue Flame. This card was used quite a few times in during my first round match. So the idea is for you to attack into pretty much any monster that your opponent may have, including a face down monster, and you would be able to get its effect off. What I didn't realize is that its effect doesn't apply if you destroy tokens. If you destroy tokens, excuse me, it doesn't really count as the monster being destroyed and going to the grave or being banished. So it really didn't count. But this card came up quite a bit, and it was a pretty insane way for me to just go into more of my monsters, which is insane. Next up, 3 copies of Sirocco the Dawn. This card again was another card that came up a lot, but it got in my finals matchup it got derailed quite a few times off of cards like cards like Raigeki Break, Phoenix Wing Wind Blast, and even also Torrential Tribute, which was devastating. But it was still pretty cool to use Sirocco and get the search off of the Whirlwind, which is pretty cool. So Sirocco, again, being given the fact that it's a 5-star monster, you literally could go Sirocco plus Blizzard, and you can go into a Blackwing Aura Master, which was really cool. And then to round out the monsters, I had 2 copies of Vayu. This card was actually came up quite a bit, especially in both of my tournament matches. My first round match, I ended up using Vayu's effect quite a few times, going into Armed Wing and of course Armor Master. So and Armor Master. So this card was really busted, really busted. And then I know that with Blackwing decks, especially under Edison, excuse me, I know that a lot of players prefer you going into Dark Arm Dragon, but there is an alternate card that you can use instead of Dark Arm Dragon, and that is Gores. I ended up bringing in Gores. This came up, I think this only came up like maybe once, and that was pretty much it. I think like maybe once or twice throughout the tournament. So again, there was only 4 of us, which was a bit unfortunate. I kind of figured that there would have been more, because one of the guys, he called up his group chat and they didn't show up, so they kind of ghosted him a bit. But still, Gores came up like maybe once or twice, and I didn't realize it, but you have to have no cards on the board to literally use Gores' effect, which is absolutely insane. But still, being able to just automatically like special summon Gores and then summon a token right off the bat, absolutely insane, absolutely nuts. Now for my spell. So the spell lineup, it's a bit weird because I didn't really have Trap Dust Shoot for this deck, but my spell lineup, I've got Card Destruction as a replacement for Trap Dust Shoot. I've got the 1 Allure, the MST, the Heavy Storm, the Brain Con, the 2 Whirlwind, and then of course the 2 Book of Moon. Funny enough, Allure and Whirlwind came up a shit ton of times, literally, especially going into especially in my first round match. In my first round match, all 3 games, I think it was 2-0. I believe it was 2-0. Both games, literally, I opened up with Whirlwind, and my opponent had no outs to it. My opponent barely had any outs to it whatsoever, and it was just absolutely insane. BrainCon came up, I believe, once or twice, being able to just take control of my opponent's Stardust Dragon, or their or their what you call it, their their own like pretty much just like just any of their other monsters. This card came up a lot. Heavy came up, I think, only like once or twice. MST came up a lot. Allure came up a lot. Card destruction, I think, only came up maybe a couple times, and I only used it like maybe 3 times throughout the course of the tournament. Book of Moon is a bit of a weird card to use, but what's cool about Book of Moon is that if your opponent tries to go into a card like, let's say, what's a good example? Like, let's say Mirror Force. If I were to attack with Gores and they end up using Mirror Force, I could go Book of Moon, flip this face down, and now Gores can't be destroyed. So again, all these spells came up quite a bit. Absolutely insane, you guys. Absolutely insane. My trap lineup actually came up more times than I at least expected. So I got 2 Bottomless, 2 Deep Prison, 2 Sakuretsu Armor, 2 Starlight Road, 2 Jar Greed, and then of course a Mirror Force and Solemn Judgment. I never saw Mirror Force once. Not once did I ever see Mirror Force. I did see Starlight Road, but I never got the chance to use it. Mostly just because of the fact that both of my opponents had played around, whoop. Fix my camera. There we go. Sorry guys, hold on. Let me move my camera up a bit. There we go. Anyway, Starlight Road, I did see it, but I never got the chance to use it because both my opponents had played around Starlight Road multiple times. However, they never did play around the Bottomless, the Deep Prison, or the Saku. And interestingly enough, the Sakuretsu Armor and the Starlight Roads are actually really good replacements for cards like Icarus Attack, and then of course a third Deep Prison, which is really good. Again, if you don't have a third Deep Prison, you can again go into the Sakuretsu Armor, and you're just fine. Jar Greed came up every single time. Every single time this card came up, and this was the perfect replacement for Legacy Ayada. Absolutely incredible. Judgment came up twice, maybe 3 times throughout the course of the event, of the tournament. But still, it was a crazy tournament, you guys. Absolutely insane. My extra deck, I have 1 copy of Fortress Dragon, 1 Cataster, 1 Black Rose, 1 Silverwind, the Ascendant, 2 Armed Wing, 2 Armor Master, 1 Bryonic, 2 Thought Ruler, a Colossal Fighter, 2 Stardust, and then a X-Saber Urbellum. So out of all the cards in this extra deck, the Cataster, the Armed Wing, the Armor Master, and the Urbellum were the only cards that came up the most. I wanted to go into cards like Black Rose to try and pop the opponent's board, but obviously one of my opponents had his own Starlight Road, and it literally wouldn't have mattered. Urbellum came up maybe once throughout the tournament. Armor Master came up a lot. Armed Wing came up a lot, and it was just absolutely incredible way to just deal the opponent extra damage using the Kalu, which is pretty cool. So interesting. So as a bit of a ordeal, if you will, there are other cards that you can use to go into as far as your extra deck goes, and that is these 2. You could go into Goyo or into Red Dragon Archfiend as a good replacement, for cards like, Thought Ruler and whatnot. But the reason why I chose not to run Goyo is because of what Konami said regarding the Edison format. However, I didn't however, recently I discovered that Konami actually recanted their decision and chose to keep the format where it was. So Goyo could have came up, RDA could have came up as well, but the second Thought Ruler is a good replacement for the magical android. The second Stardust, again a good spot for, a good replacement for Goryo, and then the Urbellum was a good replacement for the not Android, for Dark End Dragon. So a really good replacement for that. Now moving into my side deck. Whoa. Hang on, guys. Cards are falling. That's what happens when you use sleeves from Imperium Duelists. By the way, shoutouts to Imperium Duelists for these border sleeves. These are dark Cherubini sleeves. Shoutouts to Imperium Duelists. They did a sale where it's if you buy 3 or more packs of border sleeves, you get another one for free, which was pretty cool. So shoutouts to that. But my side deck, I think I only used my side deck maybe a couple times. But my side deck, I have 2 Sidras, 2 Crows, 2 Falso Dyna, 1 Nobleman of Crossout, 2 Compulse, 2 Deck Dev, 1 Escape, 2 Dust Tornado, and then 1 Torrential. So out of all the cards that are in this side deck, the Compulse, the Crows, the Dust Tornadoes, and the Torrentials were the only cards that came up the most. And even the Dust Tornado was just absolutely insane. But if you don't have cards, like Deck Dev or Dust Tornado, there is an alternative, and it is a bit of a weird one. But you could, hypothetically speaking, go into Zhang Hu. If you guys do not know anything about this card, this is a really old school floodgate from the core booster set Rise of Destiny, and the effects read as follows. And it says here, select 2 sets speller traps on the field and activate this card. As long as this card remains on the field, the selected cards cannot be activated. So hypothetically speaking, if your opponent sets 2 end phase, on their end phase, you can go flip this, target 2 of your opponent's back row, and now they can't be used. So you could do that, but I didn't. I chose to not put them in there, and then of course my Gore tokens for Gore. So altogether, this deck was just absolutely busted. I know that this will probably be the only time that I will go locals for an Edison tournament. But the only reason why this is the only time is because, well, in terms of WWE news, the second season of LFG will be coming up very soon, so I won't be able to go back for another Edison tournament, which is perfectly fine. But the event did give me these. And this one, in this pack in particular, is already open. And the only reason why is because one of the guys gave it to me because he didn't really care for what was in it. So this was what was in it. So Tenpai Dragon Chandra, Zoroa, and then of course Green and Gray Virus. So that was so he didn't really get anything, honestly. So that was his pack. But I'm gonna show off my 2 packs. Hold hopefully next time I go, I'll get more packs or something. But this is my OTS 27 pack. First time ever opening up an OTS pack. So let's see what we can get in this pack. Quick little opening. Oh, nice! Nice. 104 Masquerade. Nice. Crowley and Speedroid Card Turbo. So, not too bad. Actually, 104 is actually a really good rank 4. Really good. Now for Battles of Legend Monster Mayhem. Probably going to be the only time I'm going to open up this pack, but still, really awesome cards in this set. Really good cards. So let's see what we can get. Hopefully, a chibi card. Amethyst, Divine Mirror, Brilliant Diamond is not bad. Dragon Maid Changeover. There's that symbol, and then Colossalus. So not too bad. Altogether though, this deck definitely give the deck a play if you haven't done so already. But be sure to get a hold of your locals, of your local card shop. Ask them if they do Edison tournaments, and be sure to head on over there. Big shoutouts again. Big shoutouts to Imperium Duels for sending me the dark cherubini sleeves. Shoutouts to my partners at Collector Store for not only sending me this playmat that I'm using now, but also for the dark blue Dragon Shield sleeves. Big shoutouts to them. And on that will do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more deck profiles in the future, which do not happen often, be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and be sure to follow me on all of my social media. All of my ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.